Princess, over to you. Thank you.
All right, good morning. Can everybody hear me though?
Um, you can just use the
Yes,
emoji.
we can hear you. We can hear
You
you.
can use the emoji. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, hope you've been heard.
Awesome. Once again, good morning, everyone. I know in this part of the country, we we do come late, so I understand if we are not having the numbers. Like I said, the first people to come are those that really need it. Other people can always rewatch later if we share it, and then if we don't, I'm sure they can always take it anyways. So I'm going to be sharing my screen now. So please let me know once you can see my screen. So yes, as previously mentioned by Adobe, I'll be talking about salary negotiation, and this is not limited to just software tester. I believe that if you are if you have any business or you have any profession at all, whether tech or no tech, you definitely need to know how to negotiate for salary. And this is not because you are trying to, I mean, there's a way people see negotiation as a way for you to go out of your comfort zone. Yeah, I would say it makes you go out of your comfort zone. I mean, anything that makes you gain more than usual would definitely take you out of your comfort zone. But what I'm just trying to drive at is that it is important for anyone who is not just only in tech, not only those that are in software testing, excuse me, but for those who generally are in tech. And these skills is very important because I noticed that a lot of time we are good at our skills, but some of these soft skills are not something that we learned while we were learning testing. Of course, you wouldn't learn that when you were learning testing. It has to be something that you have to be very deliberate about um, if you really want to. So let me share. Please, once you can see my screen, let me know. Um, can anybody see my screen yet? Awesome, awesome. Thank you very much. So yeah, today I'll be talking about mastering the art of salary negotiation. And like I said, either as a business owner or as a professional, whether in tech or not tech, even if you are saying you definitely need to know how to negotiate. So I'm going to be talking extensively about that today. This all coming in late used to distract me a lot. I wish I can be hearing it. But yeah, let's just go. So regard whatever your job title is, put it into the line. Mastering the art of salary negotiation as business analyst, data analyst, AI developer, product designer, product manager, software tester, whatever your title is, put it there. But what we are really digging deep into today is on negotiation, right? How do you negotiate on whatever you are being paid? So yeah, I don't know if an introduction was done because I dropped out. But just a few reintroduction. My name is Ibrahim Kayakini, of course, and I'm into software testing. Um, Practicing, let me say, two professions in one. A certified application security engineer. Nice, just like what I'm doing here, both within and outside the country or Africa generally. And yes, I think I have a new badge to my name as an author. That's weird. I don't think I've been able to um, come to recognize with the name as an author yet. But yeah, I've been able to release two of my books, and the third one will be coming out this month. But like I promised, is a book for a year, for a month, and then that's 12 books. So trust me when I say I have my books. I have my books, but I'm going to be dropping them once in a month. And yes, aside from being a professional software tester or aspiring to be a the best application security engineer that you would have. I'm also a founder. I'm the founder of Pi Limited, the Tech for Christ, Career Starters Launchpad, Testars Quarter, Tech 10, and SBTW Ministry, and of course, the last one is Buffet. So yes, you'll possibly find me in any of these categories at any point in time. But today, I'll be putting on the hat of a software test engineer, or generally as a industry leader in the tech space generally. And I'll be speaking to that. And I'll be speaking on this because not only have I been a victim of not negotiating my salary, I've seen people that I interview not also negotiating their salary. And sometimes I get to ask, was it that we were not taught, or was it that we didn't have the confidence to? I mean, like I've mentioned in several of my webinars, I've worked for a while, for free for a year. I've worked for 40K. I worked for, I mean, I don't think there's really any amount that you want to mention that I've not worked for. Maybe I've not worked for the best of amount that I really wish to work for, but from the moment that I jumped into understanding the power of marketing and negotiating, I've been able to see what I would have missed if I had not negotiated for salary. So I'll be speaking from someone that I've experienced it personally in my career growth, and I'll also be speaking as someone that I've seen people come to negotiate less of the value that they are for themselves. So every heart possible is what I'll be speaking on today. Now I'm going to be starting off straight. And the first thing I want you to note down in your notes are the things that negotiation are not. I'm going to be focused on this because I noticed that a lot of time people think negotiation as what it is not. And what that simply means is that you are assuming that when you are talking, you are negotiating. We are actually not negotiating as a result of you talking. And I'm going to pin myself from the screen and just pin the slide itself on the screen so that everybody can see the screen directly. So like I said, you might be doing a lot of things thinking that you are negotiating, but you're actually not negotiating. You are just doing a lot of other things. And most of the time, we do a lot of things minus actually negotiating for whether you are, even as someone that is interviewing people, you think you are negotiating with your interviewee, but in a real sense, you're only making a condescending statement. I've mentioned one time when I was doing an interview in one of my first pay job, when the HR told me that, money, what do you even need it for? This is your age. Now, in his mind, he possibly thought he was negotiating the salary with me, but that statement was too condescending to be a negotiation term. So also you as an even me as well as an interviewee, I've made statement like, can't you give me more money? This money is too small. Anything you like, you should have. Of course, not in exact terms, but you get what I mean. But in my mind, I thought I negotiated, but I never negotiated. So it is important that we know what negotiation is not. And that is the reason why we are here to learn how to master the art of negotiation. So the first thing is negotiation is not you asking for more money. And I believe that would be so weird. Like, what do you mean by negotiation asking for more money? It's not more money that is negotiating. I mean, I'm negotiating for. Yes, you could be negotiating for more money, but you asking for the money is actually not negotiation. The act of you asking is not you negotiating. You are making a demand. So asking for more money, asking it to pay you $10,000 as against the $1,000 they want to pay you is actually not negotiation. Two, negotiation is not you accepting the pay because it is more than your former salary. So because you were earning 200K before, and this company are now paying you, they have asked you for your payments, expected budget for the role, and you have submitted your payslip. For those of you that are still doing that thing by submitting payslip today, and then you have submitted it, and then they're not paying you like 50K, 100K more than what you're currently paying, does not mean that you're negotiating. It does not mean that you negotiated for anything. You're only accepting what they have offered you because it was more than your former pay. So that also is an acceptance, it's not negotiation. The third thing that negotiation is not is complaining. Complaining is not negotiation. And they pay me rubbish money, they pay me this, they pay me that, they pay my. I just realized that the tester that they brought to my team is earning 10,000 naira more than me, or everybody in the team is earning more money. I'm paying that developer 20,000 naira, but they are paying me 2,500. That is complaining. That is not negotiation. Complaining is not negotiation. Now, you telling them to give you 50K more. So let's now say they are giving you 200. I'm going to talk about the fourth one here. You telling them to pay you 250K because they are paying you 200K. It also does not mean you're negotiation. You're negotiating. Or negotiating. It does not mean you're negotiating. So it's not only on it's not only on money that you can negotiate on. Imagine that they said they are going to pay you 500K, but there is no other benefit attached to your pay. There is no leave, there is no leave allowance. You can't go, you are meant to resume 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock. There is no HMO, there is nothing as a full-time staff. There is no feeding, there is no laptop, there is nothing. There is no work from home. It's 100% remote, 100% on site every day. But you don't have a break. There's no leave. You can't go on public holiday. You can't do anything. Monday to Friday, non-stop. And then they're paying you 500K compared to where you're coming from, that is 150K. You didn't negotiate as well. So there are a lot of things that negotiations are not. So I'm going to stop here for a minute and ask you guys to type in the chat section. What are the other things that, with the way I'm saying now, I believe that you're opening up to a lot of things. So what are the other things that you think negotiations are not? I would like to see some things in the comment section. I'd like to see some things in the comment section. Let me see. Someone said, okay, I'm going to see. Giving your laptop and mobile devices aren't also negotiation. Yeah. Giving you laptop and mobile devices isn't also negotiation. It can be. That can be a negotiation. It can be, actually. Them giving you laptop and phones as against you using your own devices can actually be a negotiation. But we'll talk more about that later. What else is not a negotiation? Entitlement. Yes, absolutely, Moji. Entitlement is not negotiation. That I am entitled to it does not automatically mean that, I saw it on what they posted on their offer online, that they can pay between 100,000 and 250,000. So they should pay me 250,000. That's not a negotiation. You are not entitled to it. Pension can be things you negotiate. Shego, pension can be things you negotiate on. So it can be part of negotiation. Your years of experience. I don't think I understand what that line meant. I don't think I understand. And I'm happy that we are writing this because it helps us to know the difference between what negotiations are and what they are not negotiations. Okay. But your years of experience, year of experience, I don't think is even on the table as regard negotiation or not. Okay, but I saw a very good point here, which is HMO. So I'm asking you, what are the things that you think negotiations are not? I'm not asking you to give part of the thing negotiation could be. So cool DP, HMO could be part of negotiation, where you think because you have 20 years, you should earn more than one with 22 years. Of course, that's still an entitlement. No. It doesn't mean because you have 20 years does not matter. You have to negotiate to earn more. Comparison is not negotiation. Yes, comparison is not negotiation. Very true, Anthony. Conveying with staff boss or pool car is not. No, that could be part of negotiation. That could be part of negotiation. Because if the company has a staff bus and they're giving you as part of the benefit of transportation, yeah, it's part of negotiation. So yeah, I think I've seen at least two things here. I've seen entitlement. That's the first thing, that it is not a negotiation. Okay. Your years of experience, because I have 20 years, which is still under entitlement. The second one I see here is comparison. Comparison is not you might not have it as their value. It's not an automatic thing that they should do. You understand? So it can be a part of negotiation. So yes, negotiations are is not you asking for more money, it's not about you accepting pay because it is more than your formal salary. It's not about complaining, it's also not on only monetary values. More roles for more pay, it depends on your capacity that you have seen during the course of interview. So you might not be able to do that. You might only be able to do okay in the course of the job. When you are doing more, you can be promoted. You can ask for salary increase. Now, when you're trying to apply for a promotion for a more salary increase, then you can talk about, okay, I can do X, Y, Z within the organization, and I can get more. Okay. And you can also say negotiate. You can negotiate for a bigger role. Yeah, part of negotiation. You can negotiate for a bigger role for you to get more money, but they have to interview you based on that new role to be sure that you are really good at what you say you can do. So it's not just about I see the title, I see what they wrote under it, and then you can do it. It's not even about the morals. It's about a higher role for a higher pay. All right, because roles mean you are a software tester, you are a project manager, and you are a designer. That's roles. But it's different from you. I'm a junior tester, but now I'm seeing a senior tester role, and I believe I'm a senior tester. So it's promotion. Industry standards are not negotiable. Industry standards are negotiable. And there's also like industry standard. Industry standard is being set by people, by organization, and by individuals. So it is negotiable. I mean, I'm liking this. Like I said, there's nothing you're saying that is wrong. It's exposing you to the knowledge that you might not have known of before. So I love the fact that you're mentioning the things that are negotiations and that are non-negotiation, and I'm helping you to clarify them. So yes, we have mentioned three things that we have seen here that they are not negotiable. Awesome. Awesome. So let's move on from here. Let's move on from here. The next thing I want to talk about is then what is really negotiations? Because you really have to know what negotiation is for you to be able to deliver at best on what you want to negotiate on. In fact, you need to know what you're even negotiating about, right? Because if you don't know, it will be as though you are asking for what is already yours. And as a result of that, in your mind, you think you are, let me say, you think you are earning more, but you're not actually earning more because on the long run, they are still the one. They are still the one cutting the short. So you are not really negotiating. So what is really negotiation? Negotiation is a process of communication and interaction between two or more parties who have conflicting interests or goals with the aim of reaching a mutually acceptable agreement or compromise. It involves discussing, bargaining, making concessions to resolve differences and make common ground. So it means that before you can even begin the act of negotiation, there must be an offer on the table. That's the first thing you need to know. Before you can begin negotiation, they must have, it's just like they're not giving you offer, you're already negotiating, but what are you negotiating for? They never even consider you for the job. You have not even considered them from the job. A job that you don't want to do, there's no point negotiating for it. Right? So negotiating is that there is something on the table that you can work with, but you believe that you can gain more on. Right? So there's something you can work with it, but there just has to be there's just something that you want to be added to it. Now, so that is where negotiation now starts. That has to be on the table. An offer a goal, a benefit, an interest has to be on the table. So it is either a job offer is on the table, or what else? Can someone give me another example? Is either a job offer is on the table, or a business agreement is on the table, or in terms of working together is on the table. Something has to be on the table first before you can begin. So you cannot be waiting for their response and then you are negotiating salary because somebody has said it during the course of the interview that they want to do X, Y, Z. That they said it during the course of the interview, that the HR has mentioned it, that this is their pay range, is not a call for negotiation. Let me come again. That it was verbally spoken about in the course of the interview, or that it was mentioned, or that you saw it online, or that you heard that somebody that did the interview with them wanted to collect this amount, does not call for negotiation yet. You need to have an offer on the table. It's just like when you go and buy things in the market. The woman has to tell you, or the man has to tell you, hey, this thing that I'm selling for is 3,000 naira. There has to be an offer. You know where when they tell you that, or how much you won't pay. You know, the question is, I don't even know what to say because I don't even know what you are offering yet. So there has to be something on the table before you can talk about negotiation. So when there is something on the table, then we can now start with communication and interaction. There has to be a communication between the two parties involved, or the number of parties that are involved, for you to negotiate. That's the second thing. The first step is there is an offer on the table. The second thing is, in the table of negotiation, every party involved has to be there. Every party involved has to be present. You cannot be negotiating for salary. And that is why there are a lot of errors that I will possibly be touching if you are at the testers meet and greet, at the 30th of this month. You cannot be negotiating your salary with because the person is a senior person level that interview. No. We could bring an offer in the available job channel on Testars Quarter and say, hey, this job is 350K. However, or 100K. When you get to the table of the HR, you can begin your negotiation. It is always open to negotiation. Like, don't ever get to that point that you accept offer without negotiation. Yeah, I know in the cases where we are giving you an offer, we say, you know what, just use it to start your career and get it started. But as you go on in your career, 1 year, 2 years in the field, you have gone past internship or junior level role, you should sit down with any offer, even though you have seen that the salary is between 1,000 naira to 2,000 naira. You have interviewed for it and they have sent it to you. Always negotiate for more. Now, that is the second thing. I've mentioned that let there be an offer on the table. 2, parties involved has to be present on the table for you to negotiate. And make sure that this is now I've told you the first thing is that offer is on the table. Number 2 is that parties involved. Now, take this as number 2B, right? Is that the right party is on the table. The right party is on the table. That the person is a senior level person does not automatically mean you can negotiate with them. You have to know that that person is who you should be speaking to as regards to negotiation. Now, some cases it could be, some cases it could be CTO, some cases it could be CEO, some cases it could be senior level, your engineering manager, some cases your CTO. It depends across the board, across the organization, right? But make sure that the person that can make that discussion with the broader organization, or we can make that decision, is on the table. You can't be making your discussion of salary increase with just the fellow tester in the organization. Third thing is, it is towards a mutually acceptable agreement or compromise. This would make me talk about the act of win-win. That you negotiate for it does not automatically mean it will be granted. Like, not everything you negotiated for would be granted. There has to be a conversation for a win-win, because sometimes as human being, you can be greedy to ask for what you cannot even give if you were to be in the founder's shoes. And you could also be coming with the greediness because, oh, you heard that Microsoft pays their employee $10,000, and then you are coming to a startup to ask them for $10,000. If you really wanted $10,000, maybe you should be interviewing at Microsoft. Maybe you should not be interviewing at this current organization. And that is why I mentioned when I was talking the other time that industry standard is not the standard. Industry standard and organization standard makes up the standard. No organization will pay you more than their standard, to be fairly caught. That's the honest truth. So you have to not only do your industry standard research, you also have to do research about the organization grade. Now, I'm not saying you should limit yourself to whatever the organization has said. I'm saying there has to be a merge of both industry and organization for you to bring an acceptable offer to the table. So you need to know that it is for a mutually acceptable agreement and compromise. Everything you bring on the table might not be accepted. And making concessions. It involves discussing, bargaining, and making concessions. So it is not a one-way street. So when you want to do a negotiation, in fact, you should let the other parties know that I want to negotiate for it. I've seen people resumed an offer letter coming, and then they are trying to negotiate after they have resumed. My dear, it's not going to work. So it involves discussion, not a request, not a demand, not an entitlement. It is the discussion. It is bargaining. You could come to ask for, maybe what they gave you was 200, you're coming to ask for 250. You should be now, they might not give you the 250. In some cases, they might give you. In some cases, it might result to 235,000. So it involves discussion and bargaining. At this point, you know that they want you in the team. So you are on a positive side of negotiating. All right? That's the first thing I want you to note out of here. And of course, everything is towards the common ground. So in fact, you even have to make it clear. The days when I used to help people write a negotiation mail, one of the things you always find in my email is to reassure the company that I really want to work with you. I'm going to list out the things that I see in the organization that I see myself doing. However, I would like us to agree on these things that I've listed for us to be on a common ground. And I always leave the door open, saying whatever you think that might be contrary to what I've laid down, please feel free for us to discuss. Negotiation will not always be via a meeting like this. Negotiation will not always be via a physical meeting. Negotiation can be via email. It could be verbally written, it could be verbal, and it could be written. All right? And it could be, so it could be different forms. So you always have to leave room for making or for coming to a common ground. So once again, at the back of our mind, that negotiation is a process, not an action. It's a process of communicating and interaction between two or more parties who have conflict interest, because of course there has to be something conflicting with your interest or goals or expectation for you to go into negotiation, right? With the aim of you reaching a acceptable agreement or compromise. Like I said, it involves discussion, bargaining, and making concessions to resolve those differences that are not common interest for both of you, with the goal of reaching a common ground. Guys, am I communicating? Have you picked one or two things in just this definition? I mean, I've listed like 4 to 5 things. What would you say really stood out for you in the course of my explaining of what negotiation is? I need like 1 or 2 responses. From what I've discussed now on what negotiation is, what stood out for you? What are you going to take home as what negotiation is? What have you written down in your notes? I need like 1 or 2 responses, but I'm going to continue while I come back to read what's in the chat section. All right. So the next thing is, when you have now that you know what negotiation is, okay, why should we even be negotiating? Right? Why should you be negotiating? I mean, you could just accept. I mean, they're already giving you a good price, so why should you be negotiating? So somebody have said here that one of the things that stood out for them, Ojugo said, when there is no offer, negotiation cannot start. Yes, absolutely. 2, no code said, reassuring them you really want to work with them. Yes, it's very important. So they don't see you as someone sassy that is just full of himself, that doesn't want it. Remember that they have a number of people that they interview before they come to you. So you have to reassure them, I also want to work with you. And Adigun said, negotiation is a process. Yes, it can go. So don't get tired. When you're going into negotiation, expect a back and forth. Okay? So it's a process. It's not like you click on a button and something happens. No, it's a process. Shooks also said, ensure that it's a win-win situation. Yes, absolutely. It's always a win-win. Nobody's losing. Nobody can even lose on the table of negotiation. I think that's a nice quote. Nobody loses on a table of negotiation. It's always a win-win situation. I think somebody should quote that. Negotiation is a table for, you get it. Darlington said, leaving the conversation open and indicate interest to work with them. Yes, that's very, very important. Now, why should you negotiate your salary? 1, for fair compensation. A number of times. I mean, now managing a team and working closely with, the CEO of organizations or HR managers, I then get to see that there is always something more on the table. There is always something more on the table that you can always negotiate for. So in any situation that you do not negotiate, you are leaving money on the table. You are leaving values on the table. It might not even be money. It might even be all the money that they have that they are giving you, but you are leaving values on the table. You do not negotiate. Yes, that's what happens. You are leaving values on the table. So it is very important that you negotiate for fair compensation, for financial security. Yes, fair compensation. They have given you what they think you deserve. They have given you what they think you deserve, but you can reorientate them on what you believe that you deserve. Right? I mentioned those 4 things here, but I have like 8 things I'm going to be mentioning. So, fair compensation, negotiating your salary ensure that you are fairly compensated for your skills, for your experience, for your contribution to the organization. It helps you to secure salary that reflects your market value and worth to the company. And I've said this during one of my IG live session. I mean, if you're not following me, please do, because I always come online spontaneously. I'm not a content creator, so please don't expect consistency that much in my IG live. Sometimes I come on live even in the middle of the night, but you can follow me to get notification and also rewatch them, or even my LinkedIn page. I've mentioned it before in the course of talking about negotiation, especially for the Testars Academy student, that when you're negotiating, you're not negotiating for just the role that you are applying to or for just the JD that they wrote. Remember that you are an entire system as a person. You are an entire system. You are an entire ecosystem. I mentioned something in my book that will be coming out this month about how you yourself, you're an entire system. Don't worry, you won't guess what the title is. How you yourself, you're an entire system, and you treat yourself as such. So you have to know that you have experience before this experience. Before you become a software tester, there were things you were doing before, and there were some skill sets you had before that will be beneficial to this role. Before you become a tester, some of you were a teacher in primary schools. That means you have the ability to transfer knowledge, regardless who is on the table. Some of you were customer service. It means that your ability to understand the customer and work with the customer support team is inside of you, and you'll be exhibiting it on this job, even though it is not in your JD. I'm definitely sure I don't have testers that are saying, my job is just to test and pass, so I'm not meant to do anything else. Because you are going to be bringing your total self to the table. Now, I believe that if you are doing 4 or 5 jobs, you have already thrown you off this table, because you can never bring totality to the table of division. Now, I'm saying that when you are coming on a job, you are bringing your total self, your total system. A lot of times, some of you cannot do anything else other than the job that you are doing. Morning by 6 a.m., you have left. In the evening, you are coming back home and late at night. Your entire ecosystem is surrounded by that job. You spend the biggest time of your day, the chunk hours of your days on this job. So remember that you're bringing in your speaking, your ability to think, your project management skill, whatever it is that you have learned before. You're bringing everything to the table. So you have to negotiate based on you as an ecosystem of yourself. So the essence of you negotiating, don't see yourself as just the job offer and title that you're applying for. See yourself as the system that you are bringing to the organization. So you are someone that likes things set up in structure and process. You are going to be bringing that to the table, even though it's not in your job description. You are someone that likes to manage a community. Some of you are community manager. I was a community manager before I became a tester. When I get to an organization, when I get to the team, I see that everything is disorganized. I automatically create different channels to keep things into perspective, to communicate things, and to let people know how to communicate in the right channel. I put in structures and processes. I try to communicate daily, weekly, monthly. I bring in that skills to the table. So when I am negotiating, I'm not negotiating as just a software tester. I am negotiating as an entire system, because I know I'll be giving my all to the job. So you are negotiating based from that perspective. That is a view that you're bringing to the table. So when I see testers come to the table and say, pay me 100,000, I laugh, because to me, you do not even value yourself. And you do not see yourself beyond the job description. When you come to the table of an offer letter negotiation and you do not negotiate higher, I know you do not value yourself. I know you do not value your skill set. And I know you do not value the industry that you're even representing. To you, it is just a task to get done, not a career to build. So when you're negotiating again, you're negotiating because you want a fair compensation for your skills, for the experience, and the contribution you're going to be bringing to the table. It helps you to secure salary that reflects your market value and worth to the organization. A number of times when I get to the table, I always correct, even as I as CTO and CEO, about the value that I bring to the table. I always let them understand that, hey, I'm not just a software tester. I've once been a product manager before. I can also project manage. I can also do these things. As a software tester alone, I know the number of, I'm not just coming here to do pass and fail. I'm coming to the team to ensure that I'm bringing stability and quality to the team. I'm here to manage the team to ensure that we are delivering quality first product, which is a higher value to the organization than them just hiring a tester. So negotiation, that is what it does. It helps them to understand the value of yourself and your self-worth for a fair compensation. The second one is financial security. Of course, a higher salary or a higher benefit helps to improve financial well-being, providing you with a greater financial security, stability, and resources to meet your own needs. Okay, I believe I don't even need to dwell so much on that. You know what having more would do to you as a person. The third thing I mentioned is career advancement. Negotiating for a higher salary can positively impact your long-term earning potential. You know that, me and you know that if you are collecting 100K today, your next salary is between 150K, reasonably between 150K and 300K. Now, imagine that this same job that they gave you, that you wanted to collect 100K for, imagine that you're already earning 150K with that same job, or they're already giving you that 300K with that same job. It means that your next salary, even though it's within the same range, will be between 350K and 500K. So asking for more automatically influences what your next pay will be. It influences your long-term earning potentials. So for somebody that has never earned 5 million naira before, and your first salary before was 100K, and then you, even if it's 500K, even if it's 1 million naira, to go and ask for 5 million naira will be hard for you, because you know that not only because you cannot just make mention of the amount, but even your confidence to ask for it will be more. Now, I'm not excluding the grace of God. I'm not excluding the grace or speed or mercy or favor that some people receive. I'm not excluding. In fact, that everything here I'm saying is minus that. Okay, but I'm saying it can influences your career advancement. Fourth thing why negotiation is good is that recognition of value. And this is one thing I know we'll be dwelling a lot on at the Testars meet and greet. Recognition of value. A lot of time, the reason why companies are not appreciating testers today is because a lot of testers have accepted so low than what they deserve. A security somewhere is earning your salary as a tester, especially tester. Have received whatever was brought to your table, which then affects the way you're being perceived in the organization. And then you're wondering, why are they treating you anyhow? No, it is because of the value that you communicated to them. So in case you have that question in your mind, why is it that you're the last person they brought to the table? Why is it that they don't communicate with you when they're having a meeting with developer and product or project manager? Why are they not always communicating with you? Why don't they discuss the business requirements with you? Why don't they do this with you? The answer to all your questions is that you communicated your value wrongly. And that starts from the moment of salary negotiation. Negotiating your salary demonstrates confidence in your ability and a commitment for you to advocate for your worth. It sends a message to employers that you value your skills and the contribution to the organization, and expected to be compensated, accordingly. You did not communicate your value. So when you go for an offer and they tell you 50K to 75K for just an intern role, and you're like, okay, well, use something to start. For you just want to get a job and start rolling. You just want to, okay, you went to do an interview with Microsoft, they have told you that the salary is $15,000. You're like, Microsoft, yes, exactly. But you're leaving something on the table. You're leaving something on the table. And not only are you leaving money on the table, you're leaving value recognition on the table. Like I'm always saying, there's always more on the table. I've mentioned that earlier. So negotiating helps them to recognize your value. It demonstrates that you know what you are doing. Have you not seen situation? In fact, I have seen situation where I was sitting with an HR person and he just said, the salary on the table is actually between 400 to 450. And it's a guy, so it's not like a lady bias thing or women, family, they were cheating on women thing. No, this is actually for a guy. And they're like, okay, let me even tease the guy. Let's pay you 110,000 naira. And guess what? The guy accepted it for an intermediate level. He accepted it for an intermediate level. They just teased, like, he literally just teased the guy, like, let's even start from there. And guess what? He said, like, oh, thank you so much. I'll really be glad. When am I getting the offer? Like, it shows so much desperation. It shows you do not even, it shows the way you place value on yourself. And guess what? He wrote a offer letter for the guy of 110. But I mean, thankfully, I was on the table. I was in the room to even make that concession and say, hey, these people might not really know. But at the same time, we don't want to play a game that the person will not discover their value later. And then in the next 3-6 months, the person is leaving us. And I will give the person more than what they requested for. Now, in your mind now, they are giving you more than they requested for. That's the perfect company that ever existed. No, it is you that never recognize your value. And no matter how they had to add more, they will never not add more to the maximum value that they wanted to have given you. The max they will give you is 250K. Even though what was on the table was as high as 400K. So value yourself and communicate your value in the course of interview. The next reason why I would also say is retention and engagement. Being satisfied with your salary can increase your job satisfaction. Yes, it can increase. I've done one-on-one session with a lot of testers, and the motivation is not because they are not good at their job or they don't love what they do, but it will make them stay. It won't give you job satisfaction. Imagine you realize that you're the person that is paid the least in the organization. Of course, HR will not want you to know what other people are earning in the team. But imagine you just realized that a company can pay you times 10 of what you're currently earning. It is that day that you realize it. It is that day you start hating that job. That is the same day you start seeing the issues with that company. That's the day you start realizing that your boss is not talking to you well. It's not because he changed the way he started speaking with you. It's because you just realized your worth. So retention and engagement is another reason why you should negotiate, because the more satisfied you are on the job, with your salary, the more it increases your job satisfaction. It increases your engagement. It increases your motivation. Imagine everybody here, the least person here is earning 500K in a month in your current job. Let's say you are an intermediate level tester and you're earning 500K. You say you go there motivated. You go there gingered. But 500K is the least any tester in an intermediate level should be earning, actually, as an intermediate level tester. Not when you're senior is what you should be earning 500K. If you're a senior level person, if you're earning 1 million naira, it's not a big deal. It's the normal thing you should be earning. You should be earning as a salary if you are a senior level tester. If you're intermediate level tester, 500K is the normal you should be collecting. So don't make it look like you're earning more than your can. No. You are earning what you should be earning. You should be earning. So yes, we can talk on and on about professional development, market value awareness. In fact, let me comment last to the market value awareness, right? Please, you can only drop a text in the chat section, Shooks. Market value awareness. A lot of us as testers, apologies to what other professionals on the call, but a lot of us as testers, we have communicated our value wrongly to the market by collecting less. So there is a particular view, and that's why when I go to job platforms where they post job opportunities, I will see developer, I will see data analyst, I will see all of those things, I will see 500, 300, and all of that. And then I will go straight to QA, and then I will see 50,000 to 75,000. I believe I can see that even on, I can look for that one almost immediately right now for you. Because I know there is a website currently that I'm talking to right now, and they posted a QA job there, 50 to 75,000 naira for a junior level role. I don't care how junior you are. Your salary can never be 75,000 naira. I don't care how junior you are. Your salary can never be 75,000 naira. That is what a security man collects somewhere on the mainland, not even highland. That is what a woman that is coming to clean your compound once in a week, even collects in a month. So the value you communicate to the market also matters. Guys, do we understand why salary negotiation is important? Because if you don't know why these things are important, right, you will feel like, this money is okay. Why do I need to negotiate? It's important we know why. It is important you know why. Thank you so much. I can see emojis on your understanding that it is important. Now, what are the elements of negotiation I need to run? Parties have to be on the table, interest and an offer letter, effective communication. Now, communication for negotiation has to be effective. Listening, persuasion, rapport building. It is not an interview at this point when you're communicating for negotiation. I need to pause there to talk about this a little. Okay? It is not an interview at this point. You have to build a rapport. You have to build a rapport. You have to make it look like a discussion that it is. You have to listen. You have to communicate clearly. And you have to build a rapport. So effective communication has to be on the table, has to be part of your negotiation, trade-offs, alternatives. So even when you're going to the negotiation table, if they don't give me this, what can I ask in return? What are the other alternatives you are putting down? Negotiation tactics and strategies you want to use. In some cases, I use communicating my previous values, previous skill set that I have can be what I'm bringing to the table to negotiate. In some other cases, it could be story-based of how I have worked on a job and how my value has helped the company to do better at delivering quality products. In other times, it could be me. You just have to have your strategy. In fact, not having strategy is a strategy alone for negotiation. Because the only difference is that not having a strategy that makes it a strategy is only going to result in a win-win negotiation, but they'll be winning more than you will be winning. Agreement and sign off, okay, has to be on the table. What character should you possess for a successful negotiation? The first thing is you are value packed for the role. That's the first thing you must possess. For that role, you are not the one that you said no, say nah God, like you are even shocked that they gave you an offer. Do you understand? Like, that kind of person that you don't believe you deserve it. You don't even believe that you are worth that kind of role. And if you know you don't want that kind of role, don't bother to negotiate. Just accept the offer and move. But if you are going to negotiate, you have to be sure that you are the best person for the job. In fact, I dare to say that when you are going to the room of negotiation, you should be confident not to get the job. In fact, have it at the back of your mind that worst comes to worst, if nothing is going to be adjusted for you, you are ready to let the job go. I know it can be somehow dicey, but you need to have that at the back of your mind because you have to be prepared for the best and for the worst and for anything in between. So I think another thing I need to put here is the ability to let go. I didn't put it here, but I think that's the first thing that should be on this list. The ability to let it go. You should be fine to let an offer that is not going to bend go. Like they're not ready to compromise on anything. And you know that this offer is you want to work with them, but it's just too small. It's just too non-negotiable, and it's just too rigid to be non-negotiable for. You should be confident and ready to let it go. Secondly, you should be value packed for the role. You should know that you are worthy. You are way value for the role. You should go to the table of negotiation and know that, hey, I am good and I can do this if you want me in the team. And all of that can be achieved if you lose confidence. Confidence, not timidity, not shyness, not, I don't like to talk. So what are you doing on the table if you cannot talk? If you are somebody that don't like to talk, then that negotiation table is not for you. Negotiation table is meant for those that have confidence to speak and communicate. It's a discussion. Somebody with a bass voice will not come and speak, and automatically you lose all your guard. You have to speak with confidence. I don't care, even if the CEO of the chairman of the organization is on the table, I'm going to communicate my value. I'm going to negotiate. The same way I will negotiate with an HR, the same way I will negotiate with the CEO. Except the CEO is going to bring me more value that the HR does not know, but I don't care the sales and marketing skills that the CEO has. I'm still going to communicate with confidence, regardless of who is on the table. So if another way that HR wants to deal with you, they will now bring in 4, 5, 10 people on the table that are wearing suits. My dear, my confidence does not change you. If you like everybody should wear suits and jacket and iron and wear starched, my confidence does not change. I'm still going to negotiate what I want to negotiate with confidence. So your confidence must be intact if you are coming to the table. That somebody come, is tall, junkie, and is speaking with boo, is not going to change jack. Because you are speaking from a point of value, not from a point of, I just want to collect more money. Do you understand? You need to also come to the table with the knowledge of the company. Don't come naive, like, you are negotiating unprepared. There's nothing like that. You have to be prepared. You have to know the company. You have to also know what you want. What are you we'll talk about what I'm negotiating for very soon, which is like the second to the last slide. What do you really want? Like, what do you want? Are you clear on what you want before you come to the table? Be clear and give a clear and effective communication. Please don't stammer. Stammer already shows lack of confidence. Be clear and effective when communicating on negotiation table. I call it a table because it's in for back and forth. It's communication. Somebody is going to sit on the first side, the other person is going to sit on the other side. So there is always a table, and that's why I call it a negotiation table. Be very clear and effective. Don't stammer, don't run. I can come and be speaking here now. I can be very fast in my speaking, but when I'm communicating for negotiation, I'm very slow so that even the person that takes time for them to understand can catch up. So be very clear. No short word, no slang, nothing. Be clear and give an effective communication. The last thing is be flexible. They might not be able to increase your salary, but they might be able to increase your pension value. They might not be able to increase your pension value, but they might be able to increase your number of days of leave. So put in your mind that there is room for flexibility. So also you're expecting there to be room for flexibility, not like this is what we're getting, this is what we are giving. Okay, that already communicates what the companies look like to you already. So yeah, be flexible. Those are the characteristic. Plus, remember I mentioned one here that you should come with. I mentioned one before this one. So I hope somebody wrote it down. There's something I mentioned before. I listed the 6 of them that I said should be on this table, right? Should be before I said it should be value packed. And all. I mentioned something. I hope somebody can help me write that in the chat section. So, but these are the characteristics you should possess for you to be able to let go. Yes, thank you, Chooks. Be able to let go. These 7 characteristics are very important for a successful negotiation. Okay. Terms to be cleared on before you begin negotiation. And I'm always asking this thing, are you really sure you want more money? Yes, this question seems like, what kind of question are you asking me? Babe, of course I need more money. No. It's not an of course situation. We have to be very, very clear that you need more money. Are you sure you need more? Not just more money. Are you sure you really want more? Because the way the energy you put in when requesting for more would if you want more, it will affect the energy you put in when you're requesting. So somebody will not just come and fuck you out, bamboozle you out of what you really want. So you have to be sure, do you really want more? Or deep down in your mind that this one now is okay for you. And there is nothing like, no money is too much for anybody. No, sometimes money is too much for some people. I can tell you for a fact. Some people right now, if we give you $10 million every month, there is nothing you do with. You will just become a nuisance in the society. You will just become a nuisance. You know that you don't, even if you want more, how more do you want? That's another question B to this first question here. How much more do you want? Okay. And what will influence how much more you want is based on what you are bringing to the table. You cannot be coming in as a junior person and you're wanting as more as 1 million naira per month. Be fair. Be realistic. How much more do you want? Okay. So do you want more is the first question. It seems like a very basic question, but yes. You're like, do you think that I don't want more is why I'm negotiating? No, I want more. Do you really want more? And how much more do you want? 2, in what area do you want more? Because you must have seen the offer letter. Like I said, there must have been an offer on the table. In what area do you want more? Do you want it in terms of your basic salary? Do you want it in terms of your net? Do you want it in terms of your total gross value? Do you want it in terms of your number of leave days? Do you want it in terms of the HMO you're going to be given? In what area do you really want more? Is it in terms of them sponsoring you for professional education and empowerment? In what area do you really want more? Third thing is, how soon do you want more? Because yes, you might also want more, but it is not immediate. It might be like on the long term. Some things you want might not be achieved immediately. What if they're able to give you this in the next 3 months? What if they're able to give you this in the next 6 months? What if they're able to give you this thing upon confirmation? Are you also good with? Are you fine with it? So how soon do you want the more? Is it immediate? Is it later? You have to be cleared. Fourth thing is, how are your negotiations? What are your negotiations and non-negotiables? What are the things that when you are coming to the table of negotiation, what are your negotiables and what are not your negotiables? Okay, so you have to be very sure that you have some things that there's no grammar that anybody can blow. This one, we must increase it. This one, and be realistic. Okay, be realistic with them. Some things will be negotiables, and you can come to the table with some things that are not negotiables, and they can become negotiables. So, what are your negotiables? But you must come to the table with some things that are negotiables and non. In fact, when you come to negotiation table with all of these things, they will know you know what you're saying. They will know that this person is not joking. If they have sent one senior person to come and talk to you before, the person will know that, oh boy, I need HR and CEO here. So they will know that you know what you are saying. You are not just here to come and ask for 5 naira. And if you're negotiating for something, please, I'm always advocating for it. Let it not be between nothing less than 30% to 50%. Okay? 30 to 50%. Don't go and be asking for 5% increase, 10% increase. No. 30 to 50% should be the minimum that you're negotiating for. In some cases, people ask for overall 100%. Help somebody negotiate for 150% increase. And yeah, they got it. It all depends on how they are coming to the table. That is why we are learning the arts, the mastery in the, master the art of negotiation. That is why we are learning this. And these are the things that I would do differently that you might not do and you might not get the offer. Okay. So terms to be cleared on, you need to be cleared on these 4 things. You go to the negotiation table. What can you negotiate on, especially when it comes to your professional job? Salary value. Yes, you should negotiate on salary value, like your basic salary, your net pay, your total gross, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly allowance. These are the things you can negotiate for. You can also negotiate for position or role. So you could see that they have maybe the job offer post you saw online somewhere that somebody posted on a group was a junior level role. And then in the course of the interview, you realize that they actually have a need for an intermediate level, and you're an intermediate level role. You have to reapply for that job, resubmit your CV to show, because again, I want to believe that you don't just have one CV, to show that I can do this job. I'm actually an intermediate level low. I just saw this job because I just saw this one and I applied for it. In the course of them interviewing, some companies have interviewed people at a junior level offer and placed them on an intermediate level offer. Some have been applied as intermediate level and actually been placed on a junior level. Okay, and some organizations don't even have either junior or intermediate or anything. They just put you there, yeah, stuff like everybody else. Okay, and you can also apply from just one job role to another job role. Okay, we talk about the position is the first one, junior to intermediate, intermediate to senior, senior to manager or whatever. Why you can also apply from test engineer to automation engineer. Maybe you could also see that you're an automation engineer person. You're bringing automation testing skill on the table, even though you have applied as just a test engineer and there was no automation in the skill set that was required. And then you can also apply and say, oh, I also have automation skill set. Can I be interviewed as a test automation engineer? And of course, they're going to interview you and they're going to talk to you, negotiate with you according to that job title. You can also negotiate for non-cash values, like the number of leave days, your HMO, your pension, your HMO coverage, and stuff like that. These are things that you can negotiate for. Now, it depends on the offer you saw on the table and the benefit that they give in the organization. So you can negotiate based on the things that they have in the offer. Apparently that's the last thing. So yeah, these are the areas you can negotiate on. But last thing I would like to mention here is that you should know that negotiation is a win-win. Confidence, communicating your value clearly, and knowing what you want, and knowing what you want are the major hacks that you have to learn. You have to be good at practice. That brings me to the end of my session. Thank you very much, everyone. Questions? Over to you, Adobe.
Yeah, so you can put your questions on the chat session or in this chat session. So somebody said before now, who is that? He said, I think Chups. Okay, he said, I feel the salary negotiation comes with the job company. What you can offer, the nature of the job, more experience you have with jobs and interviews you have attended. Okay, that's more like a contribution.
Okay.
So if you have any question, feel free to drop it on the chat session. I'm sure you should have questions. Like, this is money matter. So, okay, someone is asking, what if I don't have any experience?
I don't believe anybody does not have any experience. Maybe not on that job, you don't have any experience, but you must be able to communicate, look internally and see what value do you possess that you believe that will be beneficial to the role. Can anybody see me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you, Princess.
Awesome. So it's not that you don't have experience. Every human being has an experience, even if it's a bad experience when you are growing up. Everybody has an experience. I mean, that's just a side note. Everybody has an experience, maybe not on the job that you're applying to, but there is an experience you have that you must be able to communicate that you're bringing to the table of negotiation. So those things are very important that you should be able to communicate them, right? I've talked about when I didn't even have any software testing experience before, and all I had was a community manager experience. I've communicated the value I have gained as a community manager that I know will be beneficial to my internship role with the organization. Do you understand? So yes, you always have an experience to communicate, maybe not on that particular job. And of course, even if you don't have experience on that job working as a full time, I think we have also had a webinar before. Maybe you might also want to subscribe to the Testars Quarter's channel on YouTube. We have talked about how to get an experience without a job. There are ways for you to get an experience even though you have never worked at a 9-to-5 job before. So you might want to go and watch a whole video on that. So there is always experience to gain. You can never come to the table of interview without an experience. How much more in negotiation? Do you understand? So, but like I said, if you are that person I know that now grace just bring you to that table, then you don't have to actually communicate or negotiate for anything. Okay, just accept the offer and go. So yeah, I think that's my answer. Adobe.
Someone else is asking too. We have a lot of questions here. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Someone is asking, what do you do about those that straightforwardly ask about your current salary?
You don't communicate it. I mean, it's my personal information. I might not be able to communicate it. It's as simple as that. See, you're not, it's not a police and thief conversation. It's not a, how do I put it now? It's not a boss and, it's not a, how do I even put it? It's not a servant boss kind of conversation when you're an interview, when you're working for an organization. It's a two-way conversation. It's a two-way relationship. Okay? So if they ask you, then you don't communicate it. I mean, I make it clear very well in the Testars Academy. You don't communicate your current salary. You don't even submit pay slip. Now, if your HR cannot do anything other than they see your pay slip, then maybe that's not where you should be. Really, a lot of HR don't even ask for it again. What are they offering on the table? You should swap the conversation. I've talked about them. I think we'll re-emphasize. I think we should have a webinar on marketing skill for testers or for tech professionals generally. You should flip the table of conversation. Oh, unfortunately, I will not be able to share my current salary because I do not believe it's part of the conversation. I do not believe it should make any positive contribution to what is on the table. Secondly, even if I choose to share you my current salary, my dear, the skill set and the experience I have before I join this current job does not tally with what I have as of today on the job. So we cannot really measure it together. You don't want to share it, you don't want to share it. It's as simple as that. They should make their offer and then you negotiate from that table. It's your confidence to do that. Just explain junior, intermediate, senior manager. I can't explain that on this call. What skill set should the person possess before you are set to be in this role? You might want to go and read. Victoria, you can drop your question in the chat section. You might want to go and read I wrote a post about it on LinkedIn, so you might want to go and read about that. And I've also done a series of conversation about it. You can also check Testars Quarter's YouTube channel for that particular conversation. I talk about it briefly on my LinkedIn page, talking about the ORVAT medication, horizontal growth, vertical growth. Those are what you use to define these roles. We also talk about it a lot in the community. So again, you want to be part of the community, either on the YouTube channel or on the Slack community, or even follow us on our LinkedIn page or Instagram handle. You will definitely, there are a lot of conversation about this already. So you want to check it out. But it's not something I might want to address on this negotiation call. Yeah. Any other question for me, Adobe?
Sorry, I was muted. Should you still negotiate after stating the expected salary during the job application process?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you and that's why you don't ever state one salary, right? You always give a range. Don't shoot yourself on the foot by just saying, I want 250K. I want 100,000 naira. No, give it a range. Okay. And if at all you are going to give only one value, maybe in the field of application, they have only asked you for one amount, which is very weird. But let's assume that they now even only one amount. Then you give your highest amount that you believe that you should. I mean, I've seen a situation where people just ask for more money than they thought they would even ever be paid, and they get paid for. Imagine your friend's salary is 200K, and then you just want to ask them for 700K, and then they just pay you 700. We're like, eh? So these people can pay me this much, and you just put it there as your biggest salary amount. You're not even expecting them. You're even expecting that they're going to come and say, we cannot pay you that amount though. So always my advice is always put in a huge range of budget for your salary during the course of application. That way it gives you room to negotiate. And again, be sure that the amount you are putting is not short of yourself. Okay. That's why I always say, always do research with the organization and with the industry to know how much you are worth. And I'm not saying, because a lot of things we are seeing in the industry now is that people are paying people 50,000 or 70,000 naira. No, I don't believe any tester, regardless of your level, should be earning 50,000 or 100,000 naira. Like, you're actively working with the company as a software test engineer. Even at the barest of intent, should be 100K. How much more as a junior or as an intermediate or senior level person? So make a proper industry standard, not the Nigeria standard. Any other question?
Yes. So somebody's asking, what about some that say this salary is just for startup? Like they just want to start with this salary.
There's nothing like you don't want to start with this salary. With the job you will start now, will it reduce over time? It won't reduce over time. The value that you're bringing now, are you bringing less value now to increase it later? Definitely not. That's not a negotiation term. So that is just for a start. Is this for a start now or for a start up? In fact,
What I understand is like more like just start with this first and we'll look into something like that.
And even if it is just a startup or it is just for you to start now, your value, you will not bring in a less value now and then come and be increasing the value later. No. The value you are bringing now is still what you are bringing to the team. And then you can only grow. If there is room for growth in the organization, you can only grow your value over time in the organization. But the value you are bringing now, you will not bring less value of yourself to the organization now. So stay with what you'll be motivated to do the best job for now. Not because it's a startup or not because it's a start now. Next question.
All right. Okay, someone saying, my question is, in the case where you are asked your salary expectation, what's the best way to respond? I think she has responded to that, a range. So so I don't know, Princess, do you have any other thing to say concerning that question? I think you've answered it.
No, I already answered it. Give them your salary expectation. I mean, before you can give them your expected salary, I believe you have made your research. So give salary based on that. If you have done your thorough research, give your salary based on that. And if you're writing it down, write in range. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Muiwa is asking, most offers are sent from a recruiter, and most times you don't have communication with HR. Can you still negotiate after accepting the offer, but before starting?
You can't negotiate after accepting any offer. Whether it is a recruiter or is an HR, is still a hiring manager. You can negotiate your offer with anybody. So, but you cannot negotiate your offer after you have accepted the offer. It's just like you have already bought a food. You already gone to buy a food at the restaurant. They say it's 3,000 per plate. They already served you and you already paid them. You're not saying, why can't you collect 2,500 naira from me? It's not possible. You negotiate before you accept.
Okay.
Any other question?
Okay. Someone said, John said, my question is, the HR has been changing the game against job seekers and the economy is not helping out. What should the tester do when the game was changed, like a remote hybrid job changed to full on-site?
Then you also change your request. It's as simple as that. You see, we are not in an era. You see, don't in the last 20 years ago, yes, HR are the game changer. They are the game decider. But in the last 20 years forward to today, no, HR are not the one changing the game. Professionals are the one making the games. That is why today, when the product management skills started springing up in Nigeria so much that today you see a product manager earning 1 million naira and everybody in the other team is earning 250K, 300K. Why? Because they reposition themselves as a founder, as a owner, as a business owner. They reposition their image. The same way a designer can wake up tomorrow, reposition themselves, and they look to be more important than testers. The same way developer made themselves look like they are the ultimate thing that can never happen in tech team. So professionals are the game changer, not HR. So if your HR has been changing what is happening within your organization, you are working it off for yourself. So first thing is, if a job is changed from a part-time hybrid to a full-time, then you make more requests before you can accept the offer. But be sure that in the offer letter that you signed, it was not full-time that was there, full-time on site. And maybe they just told you verbatim that you should be doing hybrid. But if what you have in the offer was hybrid, then you can make a demand, because that means you're spending more money on the road and you're spending more time on the road. So you can easily send an email asking for a pay raise for you to be able to change to full-time on site. And as a result of that, we have seen a lot of developers who will leave an organization because they can't do full-time. It's not new. So as a tester, you are not less of other professionals in the team. If you cannot do full-time on the job, especially if they are not even increasing the salary or they are not looking to increase the salary, then you can as well leave the job. And in the game of economy happening, I don't, well, maybe me, but anyways, I would say is that there are jobs beyond the four walls of Nigeria. So maybe you are limiting your mindset to Nigeria. There is job for you in Ghana. There is job for you in Kenya. There is job for you in other places. Okay? So look at yourself beyond. How can you export your knowledge to other countries? Are you thinking about working with an international company? If yes, how are you planning to move there? Because it's your job, your skill set is exportable. Okay? So start thinking about how to position your skill set to export it to international market. If you are looking if you are looking within the four walls of Nigeria, then it's time for you to start looking outside of Nigeria. Yeah, your skill set is not limited to Nigeria. Even if you learn the skill in Nigeria or you started your career in Nigeria, your job is not limited to Nigeria. Okay? I don't be any.
It makes sense. It was mentioned that negotiation is a win-win situation, but what of the situations that I think it should be that couldn't end in a compromise or something? Like the company may not want to give you exactly what you want in monetary terms. That's all you wanted to negotiate, being fine with other benefits. Do you just put something else on the table like pension, etc.? Or how should one go about this scenario? I don't know if you understand it.
I think we already talked about it that money should not be the only thing you bring to the table. There should always be an alternative, right? But if money is your only thing that you really want to negotiate for, which is not bad, communicate it that money is what you want to increase. You are fine with every other thing, or you can, but let them know that. I mean, how I will go about it is that I will let them put in, even though I don't want leave of 40 days, I'll list out every area that I want things to be adjusted on. But I will let them know that this area of finance is my non-negotiable that I would like to get reviewed. I cannot work with 200K. I can only do 250K. The minimum I can do is 350K. The minimum I can do is 1.8 million naira. The minimum I can do is 6.5 million naira. Make it clear. Make it clear. It's something when I'm writing my mail for negotiation, I put a range between, I can say, I would like the salary to be reviewed between for a 40 to 60% increase. Period. And that's all I'm negotiating for. And I'll also list out other things, but I'll let them know that this salary, in fact, you might not even list out any other thing. List out that this is the salary you want to get reviewed. They will go and have it. So if they are not going to, like I also mentioned, if they're not going to change about it, if you're not going to, if they're not so flexible as you are flexible about it, then you see, it's not a more. That's why I said you must come to the negotiation table with ability and mind to let go. You must be ready to let go. If they are so fixated that they are not going to let anything go, and you know that that salary you cannot work with it, my dear, let it go. The issue is we appear to HRs or hiring managers or recruiters as though we are desperate for the job, as though there are no job for testers in Nigeria. There are job for testers in Nigeria. Maybe it's the skills that they need that you do not have. Let it go. If they can get someone lesser in skill set and value as you have to do the job, be fine with it. There will always be an organization there is always an organization that can pay your worth. There is always an organization that can pay your worth. Okay? It's just for you to make sure that you're value packed. If you're value packed, you will definitely not be jobless. So yeah, that's my response to it.
Someone is asking, okay, this is a contribution. The last point is very valid. I see PM at the forefront, taking the glory, and the tester is by the side. I wonder. Okay, Grace is saying, in a situation you join the company as an intern, and after 2 years, the increment is just 30 to 40%, and the economy is not actually smiling with finance or money. How do you negotiate?
The first question is the 30 to 40% increase. Did they give it to you or you asked for it? If they give it to you by themselves, well, it means that that is what they can afford. Then you can also now renegotiate higher if you want to, right? And be sure that you were able to negotiate appropriately, laying it out on the table that, oh, I've been able to do this, and this is compared to when I came in, this and this and this and this are now the value that I bring to the table. And I'd rather, instead of 40%, I'll be requesting for a 60 to 80% increase. Shikena, it's very easy to negotiate for. If it is you that asks for it, then I mean, you can't renegotiate for it again. You are the one that asks for it, they give it to you. Economy is not smiling. I don't know why we try to always inherit enemies. Economy is not smiling, it's none of your business. Focus on your job and focus on how you can get paid more. If you need to learn more skills to get more paid, learn more skills to get more paid. Okay? Let's stop the anti-panting on economy is bad, economy is bad, economy is bad, economy is bad. Somebody just got an offer yesterday of 1.8 million naira. So can you just let everybody leave business of economy for economy and focus on your job and career? Okay? Yeah, that's my answer to that.
All right. Someone is asking again. Please, can you recommend sites where you can get? We have. Go to the Testars Quarter. I've pinned the link. You can join the Testars Quarter. Jobs are dropped there. Sites where you can apply for Testars job are dropped there. How do I make a request for negotiation? Faith is asking, how do I make a request for negotiation?
How do you? I think you skipped the question from Rashidat. What do you think about new business software testing volunteering?
Oh, okay.
Tester?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you can, especially if you are just starting out. Let's say you have done an academy or you have not done an academy before, you're just using them to learn how testing is done. Okay. If you are using them to learn how testing is done, let's say you have not done anything before, you have only read some courses on YouTube or Udemy, or you have gone to take another academy before. Yeah, you might want, you said volunteer, so you are going there to volunteer. So when you are volunteering, then there's no conversation about payment. It's volunteering. If they give you anything, it's a compensation. Okay. So you cannot be volunteering. Expecting is salary. Why not Kukuma just go for a full-time staff and apply? So if it is volunteering, it is volunteering. You can always volunteer to test. Now, volunteering is now depend on you so that you don't shoot yourself at the leg, so that you don't go and be volunteering to a role that you should be paid for as a staff. If you are volunteering, you can volunteer to other like communities. Now we have different projects that we are giving to people in the community to just give them some tokens of payment and stuff. You can also volunteer for a short time, right? Like 1 month, 2 months, but you cannot be volunteering for 1 year. You cannot be volunteering for 6 months. The maximum you should be volunteering is 3 months, nothing more than that. So yeah, you can volunteer without a pay. I didn't volunteer, but I worked with the company without a pay for a year. So you can volunteer, but don't volunteer longer than don't be volunteering as a staff. Okay. Yeah. Next question.
Okay. Someone is saying, how do I make a request for negotiation? I think
I already responded to that. You call for a meeting for negotiation, or you send an email and requesting for the increase via an email. Yeah, I've talked about that extensively.
so. Abdulmuiz is asking, in a situation where you are fairly new to a team, then a general pay increase was implemented, and you were exempted due to being new to the job. How long should you wait before requesting for an increase in your pay?
When there is a new increase in pay for everybody,
Yes.
because that increase was captured in the cost of them interviewing you. So that they just give people that, imagine that there's an organization where they're paying everybody 100K, and you were being paid like 180K when you joined the company, but they now increase everybody's salary to 150K. Are you going to ask to be demoted in price? Definitely no. So you should not jump to asking for a new pay when you just joined the team because you saw that they are doing salary increase. You don't want to know how much others were earning before you joined. So wait till when it's ideal for you to ask for a new pay, and then you ask for a new pay for a salary increase. Yeah. Next question.
Okay. Is Faith. After receiving an offer letter, how do I initiate a request for negotiation when the company doesn't seem like they have that option?
I don't believe there's no organization that doesn't have the option. The question is, did you ask? Did you negotiate? So until you negotiate, you will not know that they have it. If I want to give somebody offer letter today, I would the salary that I'm paying you, give you everything as though you are a new staff. Just sign and send it back to me. I would definitely not approach you as an HR as someone that has room for negotiation. So it is up to you to initiate it via that conversation. If they call you, if you have their phone number, send an email, which is always the best approach. Send an email requesting for a salary review, or send an email for a call to be initiated for a salary review. There is no other way to ask for a salary review than to ask for it. So yeah, nobody gives an option for negotiation until you ask for it.
Great. And I think that's the last question for today.
Amazing.
Yeah. That's about 1 hour 30 minutes, 1 hour 35 minutes, and it has been a very impactful. Okay, somebody's asking. It wasn't the last after all. Is it preferable to self-request for an increase in a department where we all resume same time and we all do the same job duties, or we should join the request?
I feel like in fact, the answer with that expression. What is your business with anybody?
What if you don't want an increase
What
and you're the only one
exactly?
that wants the increase?
A lot of time, I think we also play this card in, and I think it's testers. I feel like, I'm going to also personally solicit for everybody that is training testers, because I know a lot of people come from different background, right? When you're training testers, you need to know that you have to be strictly professionals at work. That's one of the things that I do for those in Testify Academy. You can't come to the professional world or to the tech space with the mentality of you are selling markets on the streets, or with the mentality of your classmates, or with the mentality of the previous job that you're doing before that is non-tech or non-professional. Stop this. All of us will go and fight against them. All of us will go. Stop it. It doesn't possess you to be professional and serious. Trust me, when it comes to the table of decision, nobody will even take you serious. Nobody will take you serious. So stop these joint fights and joint demand and joint like, we are doing Labour Party. Stop it. You are here on a professional term. Be strictly professional. You are conversation you're having with an HR. If they are going to sack you, they are going to sack you alone. They're not going to ask any other team member to escort you out. So if you like, have best friend at work that you are planning coup with. By the time they want to get hold of you to send you away, they will send you away alone and leave your professional coup friend in the company. And before you know it, that your best friend will stop communicating with you. And then you say the company is bad. So focus on yourself. Be strictly professional. If you like, let everybody be doing A as you are doing A. Earning the same money. You're not putting in the same mental effort to work. So you cannot make a collective request. It has to be individual. Professionalism at the workplace is a totally different conversation, but please, whoever that person is, it's just one request. So you do your request by yourself. Now you can if you now have a best friend in the team or outside of work, or you can tell the person that I want to ask for salary now, so that individually you can go and ask for it, but don't make that request or that decision or that processes a collective thing. It has to be individual, because the moment any company discover that what is going on, they rather sack every one of you and recruit other people, and they'll be justified. Yeah, that's it, Adobe.
Okay, thank you for answering all these questions, and thank you for staying through, everyone. It's been an enlightening almost 1 hour 40 minutes, and I'm sure we have something we are taking back home. Like some people were asking if the session is recorded. Yes, the session is recorded. You can go to YouTube. It's pinned. The link is pinned. You can just follow us on YouTube, and you can watch other videos there. There are some videos that are very, very educative there, on different topics. Yes, last week we talked about how to get a job, like how to secure a job, and today we're talking about salary negotiation. So there are other and very, very enlightening topics on the Testars Quarter, which we have dropped there for you to watch. Then if you have not joined the Testars Quarter, I've also pinned the link for you to join Testars Quarter. I talked about the Testers meet and greet, which is coming up on the 30th of March. We're going to be talking about things like this. I think we are bringing Jobberman and then one other recruitment agency like that. So we're going to be talking about things like this too as an extensively. So you don't want to miss out on this. We're going to be talking about it physically, and you'll be asking your questions to these HR people and all that. So we'll also have iFitness there to talk about we are tech people and we normally sit at home for a very long time and all that. So they're going to talk about health as a tech person or as a software tester. Then there is so much for you. You're going to be networking, you'll be listening to professionals in the field speak, and there's just a lot. There's just a lot for you to learn in that session on the 30th, and it's not paid, it's free. So all you need to do is just register for it. So I think I've talked enough. Just all you have to do is just take all the measures you need to do. All the measures you need to take. The links are there. Join Testars Quarters and all that. So that's it for me today, and I'm so glad you guys joined this meeting. Kindly have a very great weekend. Yeah, I can see some of you joining the Testars Quarter now. Have a great weekend, and thank you so much for staying through. I think this is almost 2 hours now, and you stay through. So have a great weekend, all of you. Bye. Bye-bye. Thank you. Okay,
Thank you, everyone.
location for the meet and greet is the Zone Bagada. Thank you, Faith. The Zone Bagada. So when you are registering, you see the location there. Yes, the Zone Bagada, Lagos. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Faith. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Abiodun.